Okay, so I think I found a mountain silhouette that might work. I found it right here. It's not a very good image, but we'll just do a command, control, click on a Mac, or you can just right click on a PC, save image as. I'm going to clean it up, so I'll just say mountain, save. And then I'm going to go into Photoshop, do File, Open, on my desktop, and try and find that mountain. Here it is. Push Open, so bring that into Photoshop. And then if I do Command L, I can get rid of those watermarks, hopefully. So bring the blacks in towards the center, slide those in, slide the whites in to blow those out to get rid of that watermark. And that worked pretty well. So just push OK. And then just do Command S or File Save, push OK. And so we were able to basically get rid of the watermark for the most part. So if we go into Illustrator, I'm going to make these vector so that I can change the colors really easily inside of InDesign. If they are a Photoshop document, then I have to open it up in Photoshop every single time to change the color. So if we go File, New, I'll just make a new document. This is fine, 7x4 is fine. And then File, Place. We'll bring in that mountain image that we saved over off of our desktop. I need to be in the desktop. So I'm going to bring in that mountain. Here it is. We saved over the original, so it doesn't have any. And so we're going to just do image trace up here and then expand. Okay, so it brought in a white background, so I'll just delete it by using the white arrow tool and selecting it. And then I can kind of figure out which ones I actually want to use, like what silhouette I actually want to use. They're all pretty similar. I don't know if it will really make a huge difference on which one I end up using, so I might just grab one. So they're all grouped together, so if I do Object, Ungroup, that can help quite a bit. So now they're all kind of separate. I can grab them separately now. I think I'll just go with this bottom one, Command C, and then I can directly paste that into InDesign, Command V. And so now you can see the fill color here. I can actually change that whenever I want. I'm going to make it white, and I'm going to screen the opacity out. So I open up my swatches panel, and this is the fill color right here. You can also double click on it to change the color. So if I wanted it pink, I could make it pink, but you can also use your swatches. There's several different ways to apply color changes. You can also use your light. Well, I never use this. I'm actually going to close out of this. I should maybe use it, but I don't. So let's just kind of try and add a little bit of a frame to this. So I think what I ended up doing with the last one is I put a little bit of an opacity on it. Actually, maybe I'll work with this in a different color so you can actually see it. So I'll just make it this color, this magenta color here. So I think I put an opacity on it so you could kind of see through it. And then I think I even did a Command C, Command V, and then I flipped it using this flipped vertical. You can try either one of these. You can also rotate pretty easily up here. Make sure you're using your black arrow tool to select things, but I'm going to flip it down so it's, you know, basically a mirror image of itself. And if you want to grab both of them at the same time, you just click on one, push Shift, and click on the second one while holding Shift down. And then you can align things over here. Oh, that looks like my Mac's going to go dead here just a minute. Okay, so I got that plugged in, but I think I did something like this. And then I think if we go into Window, Object and Layout, and Pathfinder, InDesign actually has the Pathfinder tool as well. So I'm just going to combine these two shapes together to clean it up a little bit. And I'll just nestle that. Oops. I'll just nestle this in under here. So yeah, I think I did something like this. And then I think I just kind of like ended up like Command C, Command V to copy. I think I just ended up kind of like stacking this several times over to create kind of like a, I don't know, something like that. But I didn't have it pink, obviously, so I need to select this stuff. I don't have this locked down, so Command L to lock things. So I need to lock down this template so I'm not selecting it when I'm trying to select other things. I'm just going to click and drag to try and get all of these selected, and then if I push Shift and click on the thing I don't want selected, it'll deselect that one thing. I was picking up my image with everything and I didn't want it, so I just pushed Shift and clicked on it to get it to deselect that image so I can have these isolated. I'm going to make these paper or color, you know, like the color of white. Making sure I'm on my fill color. If I switch this around, it'll just make outlines of everything, and I don't want that. Obviously, I want the fill color to be white. So if I put the swatches away so I can get a better look at this, I mean, I think I did something like this for this effect, and I don't really know. Let's see, we'll click off. You can still kind of see like the edge of the paper there, but I think that's kind of how I did that. Let's see. I'll push W so I can see. Yeah, you can kind of see how I did the silhouette of the mountain, and then I flipped it on itself. I have other images that I was working with over here, and that I didn't like them as well, but I didn't delete them. So I think I did kind of do it this way to some degree. Not exactly, but pretty close. I have quite a bit of green in this one. So I guess I'll add some green in. And if I want to get this same color green, I can click on it and I can double click on this, fill color, and I can actually write down the values. So the C value is 36, M is 0, Y is 98, and K is 0. You don't necessarily have to do this. I could also just copy and paste this box into this document, and if I wanted to, that'd be a lot faster. But I'm going to use these shapes. If you click and hold down on this, you can access different shapes. I need the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to drag it on here. It doesn't have to be exactly the right size right now, and so it's kind of set to have an outline on it, which I don't want an outline. I just want a fill color, so I'll just swap that in as the fill color, and then I'll double click on it to change the value of the color. C was 36, M was 0, yellow was 98, and K, which is black, was 0. And push OK. So I have that color now, and I want to line it up with the side of this front panel template on this brochure. And then I just want to make sure that this color is going past the bleed line, or at least to the bleed line. And I want to tuck this behind everything. So if I click on this shape, this with my black arrow tool, this box, I could do Object, Arrange, Send to Back. I want it to be all the way back. So there we go. There's something like that. You can still kind of see the edges of things, which I don't really want. Like if I zoom in, maybe I can show you a little bit better. You can still kind of see the edge of this box right here. Mostly right there, but you can see it. You can see it in there, which I don't want. So, I mean, if I select this box of this image that the image is in, oops, sorry, I'm moving around here. We can actually use this gradient feather tool, and this tool will actually, so if I zoom out or do Command 0, if I use this just up here even, you guys can see what it does. It basically, depending on how you click and drag, it will make certain things transparent. So it'll leave the original image there, that of the box that you have selected, but it'll make the rest, depending on where you click and how far you drag, it'll make it transparent. Which I just want it just a little bit transparent down here, so you just can't see that edge, just to soften up the edge of that box a little bit down here, so you won't be able to see it. And I do think that did help quite a bit. So if I was to show you what that actually did, I'll just delete all this stuff. See how it softened up the edge on that? So Command Z, I'm just going to bring all these things back in. There's actually one little spot too that's like, I'm gonna kind of try this again here. But there's actually one little spot that's really showing up, and it's actually right there. So I'm just gonna crop it up a little bit. Okay, see, that kind of helped with that a little bit. So if now you can see that this graphic is actually pretty cool, because there's actually like a mountain shape here, there's almost a mountain shape here, there's mountain shapes up here, and it just looks like the mountains are just kind of stacked on top of each other. So it's kind of an interesting graphic to use for this poster, or for this brochure. So if I do Command L on this shape, I can lock it down. And I'm just going to select these, and then I'm going to push Shift because I don't want this selected. I just want the white shape selected. And I might just I might actually move these up a little bit. And I'm going to move this up a little bit too, because I want more green to work with. So Command Option L to unlock. I'm going to lock this one back up again, but I didn't really need to lock the green one earlier, but I did. So I'm just going to have a little bit more green to work with so that I can put my, put my text here. It's nice to have a solid color to work with text, because text can be really, text can be really hard to put over an image unless it's like a solid color. Like the sky on this would actually work pretty well to put a text on. So I will work on adding, so Haver Trails. Maybe I'll just keep it super simple. Let's see, what was the name of that font? Blackjack. So I used my text tool, dragged a text box, filled it in with some text, Haver Trails. Now I'm going to go up here and change my, enter in Blackjack. Which is kind of a nice font, but I've been using kind of a blue color, which looks good on the green. And I can write down the mix of this too. So it's 98, 92, and 0. So if I want to change that, I can double click on it, double click on that fill color of that text, make sure it's highlighted, 98, 92, and 0. Push OK. So now I've been able to kind of transfer over that color that looks good. And then maybe we'll bring in the logo as well. So Command D, which is file place. You can do a file place as well. I have a nice EPS file of the Haver Trails logo, so I'll just bring that in. Huge. So let's do a Command minus to zoom out. Get the free transform tool, push Shift and hold, drag from the corner. Shift and hold, drag from the corner. And then we'll do a Command plus to kind of bring it back in. I'll bring it down even more. So we'll see if I can find somewhere on the front panel for this. I might not need the text at all. Oops. I need to make sure I'm on my black arrow tool, and then if you grab it right in the center, you're going to get this hand, and you'll end up dragging your actual image kind of outside of the box that you brought it in with. So I'll do Command Z. So when you grab something, make sure that you're on your black arrow tool and that you grab it not on this. When you get that hand, you want to grab it from the side. And so maybe I'll just set it up here for now. And I need to fill it in with white, so I can, because it's transparent. Whoever made this logo made it transparent for some reason, although only half of it for some reason. So we will just put some paper behind, or white behind it, and that'll fill in the logo background with white. So that's a pretty good start for the front panel. We'll continue working on this in the next video.